You hear your phone buzz. While you're on your way to your friend's house, instead of waiting to see what it says, you reach down to get it. While reaching down, you took your eyes off the road, causing you to rear end the person in front of you. All the text message said was, "Text me when you're here." Was it really worth it? According to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, the number one leading cause of death for ages 12 to 19 are motor vehicle accidents. Most of these fatalities that occur are from teenage passengers who were in the car with a distracted driver. The National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration, or NHTSA for short, stated in 2016 3,450 people were killed in accidents involving distracted driving. Being a culprit in the past of texting and driving, eating and driving, I am able to give you knowledge based on the topic of being distracted while driving can only do more harm than good. Also, with my experience, I was rear-ended by a teenager who was texting and driving. Although I didn't get hurt, the accident could have been a lot worse. I've also had a few good friends of mine died due to texting and driving also. Take a second and think. Do you pick up your cell phone while you're driving, or where do you keep your phone when you're in a vehicle? Using a phone or a cell phone while driving can be deadly, but with some more knowledge about the topic and some dedication to safety, we can make a difference. Today we'll discuss how texting and driving affects our ability to be fully aware of our surroundings while on the road. Then we'll discuss solutions on how to prevent texting and driving. Then, with that knowledge, hopefully I will have persuaded everyone to stop texting and driving. It can be hard to comprehend the dangers of texting and driving, but once you know how dangerous texting while driving really is, you'll hopefully understand the importance of not doing it. It's true that distracted driving kills. Texting while driving is one of the biggest distractions behind the wheel because it impacts a person's manual, cognitive, and visual functions simultaneously. Visual functions are a little bit self-explanatory. Just taking your eyes off the road just to simply look at what a person sent you in a text message is still disrupting your functions and attentions to the road. Texting while driving also disrupts the manual functions of your hands. When you reach for your phone, like I just did, you simply have only one hand on the wheel, right? While many people may only actually drive with one hand from experience, the NHTSA advises people to drive with their hands at 9 and 3. Ever wonder why? We place our hands there because of the direction of the airbags that when they deploy. When the time comes and the impact is hard enough, our hands would usually be able to protect us upon the time of the deployment of the airbags. Only if people were to use the advice given, it would prevent many injuries that come with airbags deploying. When you text and drive, you become cognitively impaired also. How? Because you're causing your brain to multitask when the task is driving. And that's really not something that's supposed to be multitasked. These 3 distractions should give you enough reason to not text and drive. But if not, I can always provide you with some more statistics that may be alarming to you. Research has been conducted by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration that they have conducted research that have shown that people who text and drive are 23.2 times likely and have a 23.2 times higher chance of a collision. Participants who also had taken their eyes off the road to answer a text message had an average of 4.6 seconds off the road. And for drivers who were dialing a number, that was an average of 3 seconds of not even looking on the road. For those 5 or so seconds, if the driver is at an average speed of 55 miles an hour, they will travel the length of a football field without looking. Do you even add that into the time that when you're texting and driving? Now that we know how lethal texting and driving really is, let's look at some ways that we can let's look at some ways that we can overcome this habit that our tech-savvy generation has developed. According to TeenSafe, approximately 11 teens die daily due to texting and driving. Is this really worth it? According to NHTSA, who are dedicated in ending risky behaviors behind the wheel, they have started numerous campaigns in hopes to see a decline in these statistics and to also raise awareness about the dangers of texting and driving. With the help of state and local departments of the government, many states have also stepped up to revise or create laws against texting and driving, but that doesn't stop as many as they would like. There are many solutions that we can come up with to keep us attentive while we are driving. These solutions can realistically solve the problem to this now epidemic in our generation. When cell phones became a problem while driving, many companies designed their cars to have technology that diminishes the need for people to look at their phones. With this option of Bluetooth or hands-free in many cars, we are able to have the text messages read aloud to us while we drive. Although this is able to take the visual distractions out of the equation, it does not take out the cognitively distraction, as one is still being distracted by a sound, which could be an easier distraction for a new driver. While this is a great step in the right direction to decrease the amount of screen time someone is using while driving, there are still more options that we can choose to do in order to prevent us from texting and driving. Also, many phone companies now offer drive mode apps. This app silences text messages and calls, and this is all with the help of you. You'll turn on this app when the car is in motion, and it'll send automated text to people who are trying to get a hold of you to let them know that you are driving. If this doesn't appeal to you, there's even an app, not through phone carriers, called Down for the Count that will actually pay or reward you for not using your phone while driving. Don't think that this can be fooled, because the app will only reward you if you're actually using it correctly. Lastly, if you're driving with a group of friends, designate a texter. Take advantage of those extra thumbs. So what will you do? You now know multiple ways to refrain from any cell phone use in a moving vehicle. How many of you would follow if local authorities were to actually enforce the penalties and fines that came along for consequences of texting and driving? Well, although many states have laws that are against texting and driving, talking on the cell phone, and even just distracted driving, it's simply not if the NHTSA has an estimation of 418,000 individuals who are using their cell phones behind the wheel while driving during daylight hours. This only creates potential injuries or deaths to occur on the road. As I wrap up, I propose that all states should ban the use of cell phones in cars while operating. According to the U.S. Department of Transportation, only 37 states, including Washington, D.C., ban the use of all cell phones in vehicles. 2 states have no laws in motion to ban the use, and 2 other states have partial bans, which restricts the use depending on your age. And actually, if you didn't know, Missouri is one of those partial ban states. If all cell phone usage were to be banned and have resources that I've given above to enforce safe driving, we could see a decrease in these alarming statistics. Just remember, what you want to say to your loved ones can wait until you've arrived at your destination safely. Thank you for watching. And also, please consider that I did break my foot, so I cannot stand up. Thanks.